If you enjoy getting outdoors in the cooler months, then keep watching this video because I'm going to share 3 tips with you that could make all the difference when you're out in conditions such as these. It's generally accepted practice that in the colder months you should be reducing the amount of times that you stop to an absolute minimum. The logic being that all the time that you are moving, you are probably keeping yourself warmer than when you stop and start to cool down and start to feel a chill. So momentum and keeping moving is often the name of the game. Now in the summer, I keep a lot of stuff in the pack on my back, and I will stop, often grateful for the breather. I will take in or take out or put into my pack whatever I need to, put the pack back on and move again. But again, applying this winter wisdom of reducing your stops to an absolute minimum, I find that in winter, I am carrying far less kit in my pack, and instead I'm carrying some of what I would carry on my back, in my pockets and on my person. This then allows me to be able to do many things on the move, be able to go into my pockets to get some food out, to be able to go into my pockets to get some fluid out. In fact, my main winter tip from this section of the video is to look at these flexible bladders, these sports drink bladders, as they are collapsible. They conform very nicely to large inside hard shell type pockets. And the other great benefit of keeping them on your person as opposed to in your pack, aside from the fact that you can drink on the move, is that it's likely that your body heat will be keeping that fluid relatively warmer than it would be in your pack, so you're reducing the likelihood of it freezing. So tip number 1, use your pockets more. Anything and everything that you could possibly get in there that you might typically need to stop for, try getting into your pockets, reducing the time and the amount that you need to stop to a minimum. Let's have a look at tip number 2. Let's assume then that we've got to a point in the day where I want to swap out my gloves for another pair. Either they've got damp or they're just not providing the insulation and the warmth and the protection from the elements that I need. If you haven't yet seen my last video where I talk about why I carry so many different gloves in the winter, I will link to it at the end of this video. But for now, let's just imagine that I want to swap these gloves out. If I take these gloves off now, I'm going to be exposing them to the bitterly cold wind that there is. Any warmth that I've got in my hands is just going to be whipped away from that wind. So I'm going to be putting cold hands into a warm pair of gloves. I don't know about you, but I'd rather be putting warm hands into a warm pair of gloves. I see no point in starting off from a position of being cold. So I'm going to take my pack off, being careful of my eye sacs as I do so. There, I've taken my pack off. I'm going to go into my pack and I'm going to get everything ready that I need to be able to put on this pair of gloves, this replacement pair of gloves, this warmer pair of gloves. So I've opened my pack up, I'm going into my waterproof liner, and there at the top is that orange bag that, if you have seen the previous video, will look familiar to you. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave that bag inside my pack. I'm going to undo the bag and I'm going to take out the next pair of gloves that I'm wanting to change into. There they are. I'm going to put those back inside the pack, not inside this bag. I'm just going to place them loose inside my pack liner, just in there. Here's the trick now. I'm going to put my hands with these gloves on inside this pack liner. I'm going to take them off inside the pack and I'm going to place the fresh pair on inside this pack. By doing that, I've given myself some protection from this wind. Now clearly, if I was in an area that provided natural protection anyway, such as a stone wall or a sheep cairn or a cairn or something like that, I'd still get behind that, but there's still going to be some breeze blowing about. So by putting them in the pack, I can eliminate that breeze and that wind to pretty much zero. So hands are inside the pack now. My hands are warm. Just for the purposes of this YouTube video, I'm actually going to take off one of the gloves and the other glove, both inside the pack. My hands are still warm. I cannot feel any wind on them. I'm going to take one of these hands out. Bang, immediately, this hand is starting to get cold. The hand that's in the pack, that you can't see because it's in the pack, is still relatively warm. So hopefully you're getting a sense here, by using your pack to protect your hands during a glove change, you're just stacking the odds more in your favour. I'm going to put this hand back inside the pack because it is getting really cold. I'm going to fumble around. It is a little bit tricky, but it's not impossible by any stretch. There's one replacement glove. There's the other replacement glove. Once I've got those on, I can do up this pack here, because I'm probably going to need to come out the pack slightly to do that. Glove bag away, rucksack liner back away, main rucksack compartment done up and closed. So as you could see in that video, apart from the section where I deliberately took my hand out and exposed it to the wind, my hands were kept inside that pack throughout. I can tell you now, in all seriousness, this hand was getting really, really cold in the 10 or 15 seconds that it was exposed to the wind. If I had both hands out, they'd have both got really, really cold. Keeping them in that pack during a glove change retains some of the warmth that is residual within your hands from the previous pair of gloves, and it stops any of that warmth being whipped away and your hands becoming even colder. Let's have a look at tip number 3. My third and final winter tip, at least for this video, relates to zips, particularly jacket zips. If we think about zipping motion of our jacket, there are 3 phases to it. There's engaging the zipper at the bottom, putting the male part into the female part of the zipper. Then there's the zipping action, whether it's up or down. Then there's the disengaging the zipper, again at the bottom, taking the male out of the female part of the zipper. If you think of those 3 phases, the first phase, engaging the zipper, putting the male into the female, is often the trickiest part. Sometimes, even when you're not wearing gloves, it can be tricky. Add a pair of gloves into the equation, it becomes somewhat problematic. Add a thick pair of gloves into the equation, it becomes even more tricky. Add a pair of mittens into the equation, if you're wearing them, it becomes nigh on impossible, which means you've either stood around for ages faffing to get it engaged, or you end up taking your glove off, losing all that heat to try and get the zip engaged. So here's a tip for you. At home, before you stow that jacket into your pack, put the jacket on, engage the zipper and zip it halfway. If your jacket's got 2 zips on, this works best. Zip it halfway and pull the top zipper to the halfway point. So your jacket will be, the zip will be engaged roughly around your sternum, but the top part of the jacket will be open, the bottom part of the jacket will be open, and the 2 zips will be meeting, the zip pullers will be meeting in the middle. Stow it in your pack. Then, when you're out on the hill and you're getting cold, you can keep your gloves on, take the jacket out of the pack, pull it over your head. The zip is already engaged. The faff has already been eliminated. Now you can take that bottom zipper and pull it down. You can take the top zipper and pull it up. You're warm in your jacket without any faff, without having to remove your gloves. When you want to take your jacket off and stow it back away again, remember, pull both zippers up and down accordingly so they meet in the middle, roughly around your sternum. Slip it over your head, put it back away, and your gear and the zip particularly is in good order to go again should you stop again on your journey. So that's the third and final tip for this video. If you're interested in seeing any more winter tips, let me know in the comments below. And whilst you're there, also let me know if there's anything that I've mentioned in this video that you weren't doing yourself, that you think's a good idea and you're going to try the next time you're out on the hill. Stay safe, folks. Cheers.